Hey you, I'm Camilla. I am doing this video to try to clarify a few things about stress and that part of our nervous system that is the stress response. The reason I'm doing this is because of a few conversations I've had lately, perhaps a few also with people who are, like me, not native English speakers, and where perhaps in our languages, stress response, often gets us to think that we need to feel stressed. And unfortunately, that is not always the case. So bear with me, I'll try to explain. So if we simplify, which I think is the best way to do things, if we simplify, with the nervous system, we have two branches. We have the sympathetic, the so-called stress response, and then we have the parasympathetic, which is also called the relaxation response. Simplified, the stress response could be like the gas pedal in a car, and the relaxation response would be the brake pedal in a car. And just like in a car, where you can't have the foot on both pedals, our nervous system works a bit the same. It's kind of either or. So we are, by evolution, wired for survival. Our body is super quick to go into the stress response, where the body is beginning to pump out our stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. Awesome! When it's short-term stressors, and when there's time afterwards to de-stress, to push the brake pedal, to rest. However, we are, as said, by evolution, wired for survival, and our stress response in our brain, in our body, is instantaneous. And there are so many triggers. There is so much that is going on around us that our brain is perceiving as a trigger, as a stressor, and we do not have to consider or perceive it as a stressful event. Our body, unfortunately, or our brain, unfortunately, does that for us. And the problem is, of course, when this begins to be a long-term or chronic situation. Because when we are in survival mode, so many of our long-term body systems and our long-term functions are simply down prioritized. It is not needed for that immediate survival, so the body, the brain is pushing that aside. Let's do that later, when we have time, when we're not fighting to survive. So when it's chronic, when it's long-term, and those other functions have been down prioritized, then that begins to be a problem. For instance, our digestion. It's one of those body systems which isn't needed for that immediate survival. And when we then have stress, or when we're in that activation mode for a long time, days, weeks, months, because we're on the go, we're active, there's so much happening, our digestion is just like not prioritized. And we start to have digestive issues. Maybe small to begin with, and then unfortunately there's a risk that there will come more and more chronic conditions out of that. This and much more will be covered in the digestive course coming up next week, actually, already. It starts on Thursday, February 2nd. So if you haven't signed up yet and you want to figure out and learn more about your amazing body, consider signing up. Reach out if you have questions. You find more information on my webpage. Just reach out either to ask questions or to sign up. Hope to hear from you.